What's up, y'all? Colt Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Tell me more, James.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the dive bar of the IWC. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks, episode 1. Again, I'm at Ref Marsh. We are at WOTR, the show. With me today for Thursday Night Chaser. Don't call it a comeback. It's a re-debut. We got Miss AmandaJayne. What's up, Miss AmandaJayne?
Well, hi. So I missed, probably the only ever, totally Ricky-centric episode of Wrestling on the Rocks.
Definitely.
I wasn't there to make it a 5-hour
Ricky as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
It was the only reason we got out last week.
Because I wasn't there.
Yeah, if you were there, we wouldn't have even said,
No,
we wouldn't have even talked about other things. We'd have been like, all right, this is Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
Ricky on the Rocks.
Ricky on the Rocks. Well, but I'm back. And shout out to the Brothers in Time for taking my place. Yeah, you guys actually had some interesting things to say. I will say this. I started doing a pie chart and bar charts. And yeah, it got too much. I said, we'll just dial it back.
Yeah.
So
they did the best they could.
So yay. However, there were no birthdays, and there were some really good birthdays. So I apologize in advance to those that had a birthday last week, because there were some really good ones.
Yeah, go ahead, hit it. Let's start it off with let's do a bunch of birthdays and a little what's in your glass, and we'll be cheersing the whole way. I'm having just some tea with a little bit of whiskey and a little bit of macadamia liqueur on top. This is what I call a dirty tea.
A dirty tea.
Tea.
Speaking of teas, you can get RTs online. I'm wearing one actually because it's a re-debut. It's another episode 1.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, y'all know where to get them. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. Well, me, I actually have, because I was driving by one, so I have sponsored, not sponsored, but I had to, because it's kind of a Good day. Oh, you can't see my label. Good day. I have some soju up in this. Pineapple soju. Ooh, we're gonna get litty. Ooh. It's been a week of wrestling. Let's just go there. But for those who we did not celebrate, there were a lot of great ones. Like, for example, Slick. I remember Slick when I was a child.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I learned early, obviously, what a pimp is, and that's a pimp right there. So, dude, Michael Cole, Enzo, really? Okay, well, you know what? His buddy's doing big things. What is it, Big Bill, or whatever they're calling him now? Yeah, yeah, that kind of threw me for a loop. Kurt Angle. I mean, look at these people. Kurt Angle. Hello, JTG.
It was, yeah. I mean, they did the whole Kurt Angle birthday celebration on SmackDown. Which was cool.
See, Rey Mysterio. Hello,
Mysterio.
See,
that's a good one.
Sunny Kiss, Sabu. One of my personal buddies. Sabu's cool. Flip Gordon. Happy birthday, Flipper.
Ooh, flip.
Flip Gordon. I love that whole thing. There's some people I don't want to say. Junkyard Dog was awesome when I was a kid.
Yep.
Kind of cool.
Yep.
Eric Young. Happy birthday. His birthday's today, by the way. Cool. And then, of course, rest in peace, Brody Lee. It's his birthday tomorrow. I'm a little sad on that.
Yeah.
Stone Cold. You don't have any more Stone Cold beers. You drank them all, right?
Yeah. I had the last one of those. Yeah.
That's to you. Rob Van Dam. Got to smoke a little for you, dude.
Yep.
Trish Stratus. Look at all these people. Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Fucking Morrow. I miss Mauro Ranallo. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
Okay? I miss his stylings. Who else do we got here? No, that's next week. Okay. Making sure I didn't forget anybody. But look at all these birthdays. Happy birthday, people. A lot of good birthdays. So if you're celebrating, happy birthday. And the only other person of interest, and I don't know who this is. Let me just double check. Make sure. Yeah, no. That's it. They're all people. Oh, if you want to go there. Technically. He was in a WrestleMania, right? William the Refrigerator Perry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's go there. So happy birthday, y'all.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Cheers to you.
Cheers to ya.
Okay. Let's see. Well, there's a few things happening in the news.
Lots of news.
Yeah, some news. One of the things I wanted to let you know about, because I don't know if you saw it, Kylie Rae made her WWE debut.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was. Well, what's really interesting is that she had a trial, and people were talking about she had a WWE tryout. It was big news, and no one heard anything about it. But this week, while they were doing, was it SmackDown or Raw? I think it was Raw. They were filming Main Event, their Peacock exclusive show.
Mm-hmm.
And Kylie Rae had a match against Dana Brooke, and it actually aired today on Peacock. So there's a Kylie Rae versus Dana Brooke match on Peacock now. Although her name is Brianna Ray, I believe.
That's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess one of the things that I had heard earlier in the week was, because I know how she's had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And I if this is not news to people, well, I didn't know, but I guess she had a problem with alcohol.
Yeah, she talked about that.
Yeah. So, but I hope that she can I don't know. But I hope that she'll do well with WWE.
Yeah, I hope she does well. I hope that she finds something, because she seems to be so start and stop, and it seems to be. I mean,
yeah,
it sucks, because you want to say it's not her fault, but it seems to be super isolated to her. And I'm not saying it's her fault, but it definitely falls on her. Like, it's not that these companies aren't giving her a shot and that she's not getting the opportunity. Getting the contract seems to be the easy part for her. in the regard that she is that good.
Yeah.
That every time someone sees her, they go, yes, that one.
Mhm.
Whatever happens after that seems to be a massive struggle for her, and that sucks because she's so easy to get behind, and she has that star quality power. When I bumped into her at Starcast the first time, I'd never like seen her. I barely had heard of her, but she was running by me and doing stuff, and I just remember almost like, this is clearly somebody. Who is this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is clearly a somebody. This is, and I'm like looking around trying to figure out, who is she? And then I found out, later on who she was. And I was like, okay, yeah, she has that kind of star. She gives off that presence. So it's not a shock that she's getting these shots. You just hope that one of them lands in a way that is not too much for her to handle one way or the other.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, so hopefully something happens out of that. I think that she's a slam dunk if she can stay.
Mhm. But it's interesting that she's going right to like main roster, whereas other people who've had more experience than her, at least with like TV or whatnot.
It is interesting, but it also, I don't think we have the full story necessarily, right? Like, there's every possibility that that's just where they were. That it was maybe a second tryout. Maybe she will go to NXT, and maybe they were, I forget what city were they in. I don't know. But what if they were where she was going to be?
Mhm.
Hey, we had the tryout in the PC. We want to do another tryout in front of the other people. But you're right. If she ends up strictly on the main roster straight away, like, that's big. It's big. But she's also good enough that that's not a total shock. It's just a matter of sticking with it and being in control of that side of you.
Yeah, but some of our favorites, it was like they were down in at NXT and could have been like fucking LA Knight.
Yeah.
Albeit it was short and had that horrible Max Dupree shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll show them shit.
Yeah. But so that's that one. And then other news, there was a little bit more information that came out today about Mercedes, Sasha Banks, that the rumor is that's starting to be reported on by the Fightfuls and the Dave Meltzers, because before we talked about Raj was the only one who'd ever said that Sasha was not with the company. But we also said that he's doesn't really go out on a limb on stuff he doesn't truly believe is correct. So there's a good chance it's a safe bet, right? But it's hard to say, right? Well, now Fightful and Observer, they're all starting to say, okay, they have their own source confirmation that she's going to be a free agent as of January 1st and will be able to wrestle. They're also saying that her contract did expire months ago, or she was released months ago, but the non-wrestling compete ends January 1st. So yeah, it all kind of times out around the time that Raj had said. What I also think is very interesting about that in and of itself, Raj wanted to break the story because he knew it was a massive story. This is huge if true, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it's been this long and no one's been able to confirm that, like, in a way, it kind of exposes a lot of what the newsletters are able to verify when they are. They're able to verify when we goddamn want you to. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of closed lips around there because that's even when Vince was empowered. That all happened before Triple H took over.
Yeah.
And once Triple H took over, people still weren't talking. So, you know what I mean? It's just kind of interesting. It kind of gives a little bit more light on that too, that like someone talked to Raj, who is a trusted source, that would not talk to other people, that no one else could confirm. No one could get that second voice. Like, a lot of these people jump on and aggregate data, and you'll see someone will tweet a thing, this person's been released, and then everyone says this person was released as per that one person who tweeted the thing. No one would touch this stuff with Raj. It's really weird, it's just interesting. But at the same time, I still don't know what's true until I see it, right? But I don't see her not being willing to talk to Triple H about stuff. It makes me wonder what we're going to see. I think what we mapped out last week could be, it's still on the table, man. Hey, I'm telling you, January is going to be the month of Mercedes, and I think Sasha will be back in WWE by Mania, and I think it's going to be even bigger because I think she will have had matches in NJPW and AEW. I think she will show up in those places and still be contracted to WWE by Mania in a Mania match. That's my prediction. She's probably in a movie. She's been acting. Yeah, I mean, all of her non-wrestling related stuff she's been doing, so she's Hollywood. Like, how big is that if she appears in these other places and everyone goes, oh, she's done. And then boom, it's Bow's time. She comes out. I'm Hollywood, motherfuckers. I do what I want. I go where I want. I fight who I want to fight. No one can stop me. Not even the machine can stop me from being me and doing what I want to do when I want to do it. And then people go, oh my God, Sasha does whatever she wants. It'd be great. It'll be great. That's my prediction. That's what I'm hoping for because I'm petty.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised no one jumped on what Raj had to say, because that one is, if you're jumping on this train and it's wrong,
yeah, you don't
your
want
credibility is shit. I mean, a lot of these guys don't have very good credibility anyways. But that's one, it's like, that's suicide with a lot of people. Would I have trusted it? Probably, and especially because you're not hearing it. Because when you don't hear something, I think that, either there's a reason why you don't hear it. It's because either A, if you did hear it, that's some pretty top level shit right there.
Yep.
And you don't want to be the one, like, if you're getting these kinds of things, you don't want to be the one. Sometimes you do, but then sometimes you really don't. Because then if it, lands like egg on your face, that source ain't going to ever come back to you again. So, and a lot of people don't want to touch that because they think, yeah, I don't want to be an outsider, and that could make me an outsider. So,
Did you hear our fantasy booking for Sasha? Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
So my fantasy booking is that January 4th is Wrestle Kingdom. So she shows up there. You said the Wrestle Kingdom card is out, right?
The card came out. It came out this morning.
Is Kairi Sane on Wrestle Kingdom Day 4?
She
night 1.
Well, what they brought out, is it 2 days? Again this year?
Yep.
Oh no, it says January 4th. Oh, and then on the 21st. They only announced the 4th.
Okay. Is Kairi Sane on that card?
Kairi Sane is.
Against who? Against who?
Tam Nakano.
Okay. But they did not announce the 21st?
No, not yet.
Perfect. This feeds into my shit. This feeds me.
There you go.
By the way, Grimreaper's in the chat saying, hello.
Hello.
That's what he says. And he goes, but the outsiders are cool. He makes a good point.
Yeah.
Chico. Meng.
Meng.
Okay, so they announced the January 4th show. Kairi Sane's on there. After that match, Sasha Banks comes out. Says, fuck you, Kairi Sane. Fuck you, dude. Right? And then they go, that's it. We're on for the 21st.
Bitch,
I'm taking your goddamn title. Bitch. Bitch. Then, on January 11th, Saraya Paige needs a tag team partner to go against Britt Baker. Whatever what I don't know. But Saraya needs a tag team partner.
Bitch.
You have Sasha come out and go, bitch, I do what I want. They have this match. They're teaming together. Look at they're coinciding. They're a team. And at the end of the match, boom, Sasha backstabs Paige. Now you got a match next week, 1-on-1. We're having Paige and Sasha. Next week, the 18th, you do it. The 21st. None of these things mattered about who wins or loses any of these things. I don't care.
No.
But I would imagine Paige and Sasha win the tag match. Sasha turns on Paige. I would think Sasha would win the 1-on-1, but you probably would give it to Paige. Probably.
You have to. Yeah.
The 21st, you have Sasha and Kairi Sane. I think I would have Sasha win that Japanese title. But here's the curveball.
Okay.
This whole time, Sasha and Triple H, they've been working everybody like the carnies that those people are, right?
Okay.
Tony, I promise, good faith. Tony, I promise, I'll be back. January 28th, Royal Rumble. Boom, Sasha Banks comes out. Turns out she's under WWE contract. She signed on the dotted line. She's not going back to AEW. She's got the NJPW title. She's going to go back and forth like Carl Anderson's doing now. Carl Anderson is showing. He just went and defended the title, the Neverweight Championship. They said, oh, he's got to go back and drop it because he's in WWE. He did not. He won.
Nope. And he's got a match on the fucking card at Wrestle Kingdom.
And he's going to be at Wrestle Kingdom, motherfucker. See, let Sasha have a small run with NJPW.
And of all people he's wrestling, Tama fucking Tonga. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be good.
Loving that.
So then Sasha shows up Royal Rumble. She's the NJPW champion, Stardom champion, I think is what it actually. No, the IWGP.
Yeah.
It's the IWGP champion. She shows up. She does that. She makes like 2 or 3 appearances in Japan before she finally drops the title. But she's WWE for life, baby. And she got to do her whole thing with Paige because they can't do it in WWE.
Nope.
She got to do her thing in Japan with Kairi Sane. Because also, if I'm Triple H and I'm Sasha, I only want to work safe people.
But don't you also want to bring that belt into WrestleMania?
Sure.
Yeah.
Bring the IWGP. And then you know what?
LA, it's Hollywood.
Can you imagine?
And she's Hollywood.
Do you imagine that she takes the IWGP title to Mania and loses it at Mania to Kairi Sane, who goes back to Japan with it? And they have a crossover for one night? Sick, dude.
Totally sick. Yep. There you go.
Sick.
It's very sick. And you're not going yet.
The Forbidden Door.
That is a forbidden door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very forbidden.
Yeah, no, WrestleMania is expensive. I can't go to that.
Well, I know. Trust me, this AEW excursion is going to be very expensive.
I know.
I don't have a ticket for Rampage yet. Or Revolution. Excuse me. Tomorrow, tickets go on sale for Sacramento.
Yeah.
Again, Ticketmaster, I hate you because you single shame.
Yeah, they're dicks.
Yep, can't. I'm even going to try because I'm going to get my heart broken.
Yeah. There's one other thing that happened in the news, and I think we're just going to talk NXT, and then we'll get into everything else. A bunch of stuff happened on NXT. There was some cool stuff. There, like the debut of Lyra Valkyria. I don't know. I'm still having a hard time. She says it and it makes sense. I try to say it, I fuck it up. She made her. I think
of Taya.
But it's not said the same way that Taya says it, because Taya said Taya Valkyrie. She's not saying Valkyrie. She's saying Valkyria. That's what it is. Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria.
I know that sounds just so weird.
It's badass. She's Irish.
I know she's badass, but
did you see the promo package or the match with her?
I did not see the match.
Okay. They had a promo package before the match where she was speaking in both Gaelic and English.
What?
And my big takeaway is when she's speaking English, she has a very light accent. Like, you can hear the subtlety of the Irish accent in there, but you can't quite place this. It's so subtle.
She's supposed to be a fucking leprechaun? What the fuck, dude? Why are you stereotyping the Irish?
What are you talking about? Because she speaks another language?
Well, no, because you're saying that there's a slight bit of accent. Like, are you
right? Because because every other Irish wrestler we've seen has a very thick Irish accent. And you go, oh shit, that person's from Ireland. You just know right away.
Yeah.
This one I had to wait till commentary told me, because I was all like, wow, she's just going in between these two accents so smoothly. It was crazy, and I was really impressed. And I thought she's gonna have no trouble at all, because I know that Becky had a little bit of a trouble. I know Finn Balor's had a little bit of trouble where their accents are so thick that sometimes people didn't know what they were saying, or they would, but
with Finn Balor, he doesn't need to speak.
He doesn't need to. And they still both made it. They're still fine. I'm not saying that it's
not
undoable. It's just like, are you fighting uphill or not? You know what I mean? Like, is something you got to work on or not?
Like all 37 of them, or however many he has. That speaks for him. His needs speak.
Yeah, it's plenty. But I was really impressed with her speech in general. I was like, she's gonna have no problem at all. She's gonna be great. This is gonna be awesome. Let's fucking go. And she had a really good match against Amari Miller. So that was a big highlight for me on that one. There was a bunch of general stuff. Odyssey Jones had a match with Von Wagner, so it was really cool to see Odyssey Jones back finally.
Mm-hmm.
Toxic Attraction, Gigi and JC beat Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley
Mm-hmm.
in a pretty solid match. And Wesley had a pretty cool match with Lorenzo Stacks.
Yeah.
But those were the big highlights for me. As far as general stuff, there was some video package with Wendy Chu.
I loved that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Because I thought it was a little weird them trying to give Wendy a backstory. Why is she in pajamas? Well, because she didn't have clothes at a slumber party when she was a kid. Why does she throw slushies at people? Because someone threw a slushie at her. Like, it was really kind of stretching the need for I don't need a backstory so much. When she says, I just want to be comfortable, that's enough backstory for me on why you wear pajamas.
Yeah.
That's clearly fine.
I really don't think the pajamas thing really kind of has to do.
Absolutely, it does.
I don't think so.
She said she didn't have clothes. She goes, it was fine. I had my pajamas. So great. Now you're trying to give me a deep-rooted reason on why you wear pajamas. I don't need it. You're comfy. That's good enough.
They're trying to make her a little bit more, instead of being jokey, okay? They're trying.
Yeah, that's true. They were definitely trying to give her a more serious edge.
But my thing is that
I felt like they went too far on some of it, but I was okay with the idea that we're getting Wendy and Cora.
But again, which I'm excited about, because that's going to be great. But
yeah,
you also got to think this. Okay, now with Kylie Ray or Bran or whatever the hell her name is now, and when you have people like Wendy Chu, these like feel good, like positive things, taking the old Bailey role model thing, you kind of, I think it's, and also with Wednesday being so popular, the show, I finally almost saw that. I have one more episode to go, but outcasts and and things like that, I think that's a huge thing. So they're kind of riding on that, so I can appreciate that. That's how I see it. But who am I but a fan who also likes slushies? And I swear to God, if someone threw a slushie in my face, you won't die, because it's a waste of slush.
I just didn't think that. I think that they're trying too hard to give it a deeper meaning, when I don't think she needs that deep of a meaning. I think she's easier to accept and get into without trying to be all like, there's a deep, dark reason on why I drink slushies and throw them. I'm like, I didn't need to know that. Do you want to know my past from when I was in middle school and why I wear pajamas while wrestling? What? Fuck no.
Alone. Leave Wendy Chu alone, you big bully.
She delivered it well. But it was a little too. It was overwrought, is how I would explain it. If you give me like Andor, everyone is talking about Andor and how it was amazing by the time you get to the end. I'll never watch the show because the first 3 episodes was one intro.
Yeah, it was boring as shit. Yeah,
3 hours for an overwrought intro that could have been done in 20 minutes. So much horse shit that I was like, I don't care where it's going. You spent 3 hours to tell me one 10-minute story.
Here's my question. So did Favreau do those? Did Andor?
Who fuck did it?
Well, because Favreau did The Mandalorian. And it was great because I didn't have to feel like I had to know all of Star Wars and be like a
Mandalorian was great.
Yeah, it was great. Even Boba Fett. The Boba Fett thing was great.
Because it told a story in each episode that also was part of a larger story. It was all these little story arcs that got you through to a larger story arc.
Exactly.
All right. But if you spend 3 hours telling me a 10-minute story, I'm out. So I just think they overwrote it. They overwrote too much of Wendy Chu. They really sat down and said, let's focus on Wendy Chu and what makes her the way she is. I'm like, no. We have every bit of information we need about her. Just put her out there. Let her talk to people. She's got enough. And they said, we want to do 20 minutes on why she wears pajamas. I'm like, fuck, stop. I'm already bought in.
Leave her pajamas alone and her slushie and leave that alone. Okay. I'd rather see 20 minutes of Wendy Chu talking about like some deep-rooted like childhood issues that she has than like see Robert Stone for 5 minutes on my TV. Let's go there, okay? Yeah. Nightmare.
That's true. All right. But
anyways.
The other big news and what we're all going to be talking about.
But wait, going back to Wrestle Kingdom, rewind. For those who
Wow.
don't know, as of this Wrestle Kingdom, Suzuki-gun will be no more.
No, we're gonna get to that after. We were talking NXT. We just were running down
Oh!
NXT
Shite.
because we're
Okay.
still in the news.
Okay.
The other big news in the NXT, because you didn't get to watch everything of NXT, so we're not going to try and rip apart the
Sorry.
whole thing.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
I do like New Day as the tag champions. I think that's cool.
I don't understand that. Why?
I have a feeling Pretty Deadly's probably going to the main roster soon.
God, why? They're awful.
I don't enjoy their act, but I see a lot of people do.
Who?
The same people who like the Street Profits, I think.
Okay. Well.
So there's a place for it. But I think that they're going to be used to facilitate the next big tag team there, because I also feel like their tag team division was kind of in a standstill of teams building, teams that matter, and teams that have been squashed already. Like, this will freshen it up a little bit. So we'll see where they go with it. But the big thing, the big win, the big curve was Roxanne Perez defeating Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's Championship. Roxanne kicked out of the what was it, the last kiss or kiss of death? I forget what she calls it. She was she's the only one, I think, to kick out of that move at all. And then Roxanne was able to get Pop Rocks on Mandy Rose, and she won. She won the title, and it was a big deal. I made you watch the end because right after this, we were even talking about it. This seemed kind of like a little quick, seemed a little curveball-ish. It seemed a little bit like, it seemed a little too soon to have Mandy off TV until Rumble if you were going to go that route. It also seemed a little bit quick if you only had 2 weeks to go till you got to New Year's Evil. So I was kind of like, why? I don't know. Maybe we just see Toxic Attraction on the main roster in like a week or two. Maybe they just dump them and go. But the news that came out, and we talked about it yesterday some because it had just come out right before we went live, is Mandy Rose was released from the WWE. The reports being that it has to do with her personal fan site where she was putting out explicit materials and photographs and videos to paid subscribers, and that it was too risque, as they say. The only thing about, I mean, there's a lot there, right? The one thing I'm not seeing anybody talk about was the one thing that I noticed right away was her .com for that personal fan site was MandyRoseSax.com. So she was using their IP to promote it. There was also a post on Reddit someone had back in August where she was in a personal message with someone saying, hey, I'm going to deactivate the page for a couple of days. Someone leaked, you guys are leaking some of these photos and WWE's taking notice and they're not happy about it. So I'm just going to shut it down for a couple of days and then I'll be back. She goes, plus I have a match coming up and I always trend after the matches. So she was like, but I'll be back. And she came back. So obviously it seems like WWE knew about it for months and was telling her to stop it for months. Sounds like she did not stop it for months without any kind of like, I just don't trust all the sources we get all the time. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this has to do with her using their IP, like, hey, we have to set this precedent. You're not only doing this thing we've asked you to stop doing, but you're using our IP to do it. You've used Mandy, you own MandyRose.com. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? I could see that being a bigger issue than the content in which she put out. Because, I mean, it was a bunch of model stuff, and there was, nipple and stuff, and there was pictures with her and her guy, and it was pretty risky and explicit, but it just seems like she had known. So it also makes me believe that she knew that this day was coming, probably that it's a financial decision that she's made as well, which would explain why it's rushed. And I don't think that she personally should have been fired. I think that a suspension or a conversation or something could be done. But at the same time, if they've been talking to her since August, maybe all those things have come up before. I don't know. We're not privy to that stuff. But I'm not trying to say that she deserved to be fired at all. I am saying I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out it had less to do with a nipple being shown and more to do with MandyRoseSax.com is how you're making all this money that we're not cut in on.
Mhm.
You know, but I don't know. You weren't here to talk about it. I'm wearing my Toxic hat in solidarity. It's black and white, so it matches my ref shirt. Yeah, I'm also confused and think it's crazy because of the current. I mean, I guess it just also goes to prove that just AEW is not a threat to WWE in any way, because Mandy Rose is a top 5 women's wrestler in the entire world, no matter how you cut it. If you tell someone to make a dream roster right now in this moment, and you get 5 women and 10 men to start your company, Mandy Rose's name will come up in that conversation.
Mhm.
Whether or not everyone picks her, or she's their first draft or their 5th, or she just doesn't quite make the cut, when you're being told you got to pick 5 women to make a roster, her name is coming up in that conversation.
Mhm.
So it's crazy to just let her go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't.
Well,
I can't imagine that anybody is super pleased with that outcome.
no,
Right?
no. But I also think that if she were to go to AEW, not saying she's going to, but for what she did in NXT alone, the last little over a year, imagine what she could do with some of those women over there who are not
That's
very
true.
good. You know, I mean, can you as much as they're really trying to force Dame Mello and freaking Anna Jay as these bad, heel type of women. That no. It's like, first of all, you guys don't know how to work. Second of all, no.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a different because I think personally she could give Britt Baker a run for her money.
For sure, dude. No doubt.
Yeah.
Actually, if you even had to ask me to pick one or the other, I wouldn't even hesitate
Mandy.
to say Mandy immediately.
Mhm.
If you go, hey, you can have Mandy or Britt Baker as your first pick, I go, okay, Mandy.
Mhm.
Like, did you want Britt, or I was like the other one?
Yeah.
Real quick, just in time, coming through the chat, says, cheers, my friends. And it has basically come out that she knew she could get in trouble for it, but kept doing it. Grimper says, JC and Gigi main roster bound, keep the Toxic Attraction name, as a question that we'll get to in just a second. But yeah, that was the other thing too, is that, Mandy apparently had been talked to. And
well, you know what? Didn't
she's an adult.
Yeah, and didn't Zelina Vega have a bunch of issues when she had her OnlyFans and all of that stuff?
Zelina Vega, I think, did it for Twitch, but yeah.
Oh, was it
Or no,
Twitch?
you're right. She did have an OnlyFans.
Yeah,
That's
she had
right.
an OnlyFans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, wasn't as good as Mandy's apparently, but
well, I mean, her old man didn't want her to do that, but no. But what I don't excuse me. Let's have a drink because hey. What I don't understand is, okay, you have an issue with, little risque pictures, but do you not have an issue when your roster is filming each other having sex and then it just happens to leak on the interwebs? Do we not have a problem with this? So that's okay, but versus, because it was okay, granted, I'm pretty sure that Saraya and and all these people involved did not make money off of it. I mean, who knows? I don't know. But again, it's that monetization.
Sure, but at the same time, I do think I think people will not be happy when I say this, but I do think that a lot of the woke culture is very well trained in gaslighting conversations and removing context.
Oh yeah.
I think that by saying, well, they didn't have a problem with Paige's stuff leaking out. Well, they didn't have a problem with this person having allegations. Well, they've been sexualizing Mandy Rose and they're only mad because she's the one monetizing off this version of her being sexualized, I think is gaslighting the conversation of saying because of this, then that, where the whole reason I brought up the IP thing is we don't know why. No one said why,
Yeah.
who was involved in those conversations. We know rumors and we can speculate, and that's what we do a lot of. And all I'm speculating is it might break down to something as simple as you used our IP in a way we don't like you using our IP.
Mm-hmm.
Where with Paige A, they did remove her from TV when that stuff was leaked. For months she was off TV. She wasn't monetizing it. She wasn't putting her name out there. She wasn't using their IP. It was a much different situation. I think that it could easily boil down to, hey, you got to change the URL.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Hey, you can't do, we don't want you to do this when you're the face of the company right now. Like, hey, let's, you know what I mean? Like, I think the conversation could be a lot simpler than this person gets a DUI and stays, therefore this is sexist. I'm not saying that it couldn't have been, I said, I think that this was not handled correctly, no matter what the case is.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that all those things equate to the same conversation necessarily.
Sure.
We know that she was released and it had to do with her having that website.
Mm-hmm.
We know the website says Mandy Rose in the website. Like, it's not a huge stretch to say you're monetizing off of our stuff.
Well, technically, they're also could say to Sunny, well, you were monetizing off your little Vivid video or whoever, because it did say WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah, they were not happy about that.
Yeah.
But she was also in a different contract at the time. She was in a Legends contract, which is different.
Oh, so it's okay. You can do porn and be a...
On a Legends contract, you could do a lot of stuff. It's a way open contract.
Wow.
You can make appearances. You can do meet and greets. You can use the name.
So if she wanted to go to that AVN porn thing, she could totally do that and be, this is,
Well, they're not going to be thrilled about it, but yeah, she can.
Okay.
Absolutely, she can.
Well, now she's not doing anything because she's in jail. So
yeah, now she's just in jail. Justin Time says, I believe Zelina did the same thing as Scarlett did. When she got rehired, she shut it down, which is true. And then he says, the difference between Paige and Mandy is also the fact that Paige wasn't selling that stuff while Mandy was. Yes. And I do think a key difference here that no one's talking about is IP was used.
That's true.
She was using their IP. True. So I'm just saying that no matter the reason, it's a bullshit reason.
Yeah.
But we have to also understand that there's every possibility they're not just saying Mandy's being too sexy online. She can only be sexy on our TV, therefore she's fired. That's probably not the conversation to happen, Yeah. But I do think that also if you've been having conversations with them for months, probably a lot of things were brought up. Not a hasty decision, it sounds like, But either way, I think it's a bummer. I think it sucks. She's been a highlight every week. She's watching her get to the point where she's at in short order. I mean, it's been a long road, but short order,
It's been amazing.
Yeah. Like, what do they call that when, was it like a snowball where it starts off real slow and then just picks up speed? Yeah. That's kind of the Mandy Rose development there. She was a very slow burn, but once she got going, she was a fucking inferno. So I'm just sorry to see her go. And she is somebody that if she was on AEW, I would tune in to see what she's doing.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
I love her.
I think I'd rather her in Impact though.
Same here.
Or even MLW. MLW is trying to get their women's division going.
Yeah.
If you brought in a Mandy.
But I really think that Impact, she should be a knockout because that's like classically what.
That's true too.
Yeah.
And can you imagine Mandy Rose is Mickie James' final boss? Because Mickey's on the last run. What if on the last run, while she's on the last run, Mandy comes in, takes the women's title, and now Mickie has to take the women's title because Mickie said she's going until she loses, right? Well, I guess you go both ways, right? You can either have Mandy come in, take the title, and then Mickie has to get to Mandy and can't get through Mandy, and Mandy and Mickie is a retirement match, which is not a bad match. Or you have Mickie actually get the title and say, when I lose this title, it's my last match. Have Mandy come in and take the title off Mickie. Still the retirement match, but whoever has the title, I don't think matters.
It doesn't matter.
But that would be fucking great. Let's see. Justin Time does say, as someone who isn't a Mandy Rose fan, even I say it sucks. And you're hearing that on episode 1. It's true. Yeah. I don't think anyone saw it and said, this is good. this is good and makes sense. I think no matter what side you on or what you believe happened or what conversation, I think everyone's going like, what the fuck?
More soju for Mandy right there. Pouring some for a friend that we lost.
Mandy, I don't think has ever liked any of my drawings I've done of her, so I'm
Well,
bitter. But I still like her.
You need to draw a risque one then.
Yes, I'll just have to draw her naked and then she'll sell it on her website. We both win.
Or if somebody,
What?
I can't remember who said this, but there's like, it's not like she showed her butthole.
Someone
And I'm
said
like,
that?
wow. Yeah, on Twitter. I don't remember who it was. And I was like, boy, that's somebody who just doesn't get it. So
I think it's also somebody who wasn't on her website.
Yeah, probably.
Because she
I don't know.
very close to showing her butthole.
Well, I don't know, but yeah. I don't know who it was and who was trying to be funny. Thank you.
That's true.
I did not miss that.
Let's answer Grim Reaper's question though a
Yes.
little bit. I mean, it's a bummer she's gone, obviously. And that's a little bit of our fantasy booking. I think MLW or Impact would be a massively good move. And I think AEW is going to be, it would be tough. I think it would be tough for her there. But I think that either way, I think she wins.
Obviously, people don't have a book, but that's another story for
Yes.
another time later.
Yep, we'll get to that for sure. Grim says JC and Gigi, are they main roster bound and do they keep the Toxic Attraction name? I think you absolutely keep Toxic Attraction as a name.
Yeah.
I don't think you bring in a new third.
Okay. Weren't they Toxic Attraction though before Mandy joined up?
No, they were a tag team.
Okay, but they weren't.
No, I mean, I guess we could look and see if they were. I thought that Mandy gave them the name Toxic Attraction. Because she was, remember, she was doing that thing for weeks where she was like scouting them, and it was Gigi, and then it was JC, and then she like said, you guys should tag, and then they did, and they won, and she goes, you guys should be with me, and then they did, and she goes, we're not like a part of the attraction, we are the attraction.
I think we drink too much because I can't remember.
That's true.
I loved them though. That's all I know is we loved them from the get.
Yes, so, I think you keep the Toxic Attraction name, and I also think you take them on the main roster. I think that it's a bummer, and I think it's going to be tough. I think that Mandy being the face of that group was fantastic.
Yeah, you can't replace Mandy. I wouldn't put another person. And I think maybe you have Gigi do the legwork of the talking and have JC talk a little less often. So I think Gigi's the stronger talker, but I think JC's coming together. She's coming along for sure. She is.
But yeah, I think that's how I would do it. And I would get them up now. I would get them up quick because what are we doing in NXT at this point? No. I mean, we've been saying it for 6 months. Get Toxic Attraction on the main roster.
Yeah.
So, call them up.
Yeah.
Put me in, coach. Especially SmackDown when they have all these women tag teams for no fucking reason. Throw them out there too. Add them to the mix.
Yeah. And it's also, speaking of like putting people up to the main roster, it's about time they fucking start shoving Cameron Grimes up there.
Yeah. Cameron Grimes got to go somewhere. We haven't seen him in weeks.
I know. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. We haven't seen him since the club helped him win that match.
Yeah.
That was it. We just haven't seen him since.
No.
So he's like, all right, I guess I did this. I'm done. Like, what?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, you know what? And Justin, I'm going to blame you. It's all that chest hair and everything. You start stripping that off, and then people vanish. Look what happened.
Yep.
Nope, not
just
again.
Be greasing them up like that.
Yeah, just grow the hair back, dude.
Yeah.
Grow the hair back.
But on the flip side, Roxanne as the champion, I think, is such a great move. I don't think it's too soon, but I do think it's unnecessary. I think Roxanne, you could have put on the main roster anyways.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you look at Baszler, Asuka, I mean, Mandy for the past 6-7 months. There's a lot of people who end up with the NXT championship that you go, they don't need this championship. They're ready. Just take them to the big show. And then they do good things. Like Mandy, she won the title and you go, well, it kind of makes sense in the moment. And 3 months later, you're all like, yep, she absolutely should be a champ. And who the hell could ever take it off of her? I don't think Roxanne has enough to work on to need to leave her down there other than you have the time because she's so young. You know what I mean? She's 21. Like, she's so young that you can be like, yeah, if we burn a year of her career, she's still 22. You know what I mean?
But you don't want that because you got to look at who's there right now. Look how strong they've got. Cora Jade. Of course, that's going to be a great that rivalry, but you've got also a lot of other women. Zoe Stark. Nikita Lyons. You've got a lot of great women down there.
Yeah, but those
So
women need work. So I wonder
they
if part of
need
this
to
is like you put Roxanne in on top and have her constantly work with these women and get them a little bit better. So by the time she leaves in a year, I don't know. I mean, look at Asuka. Was it when Vince told Triple H he was taking the 4 horsewomen of NXT? He said, "Leave me Asuka. You can take them all, but you've got to leave me Asuka to pull the division around for a year." So we know that was the thought process that Triple H had while down there. And if you look at most of the NXT Women's Champions, they were very dominant champions for about a year. And I think what it is he always was trying to find somebody who was strong enough, good enough to build the entire division around, and they could help train the next one. And by the time you got them on the main roster, they were so good to go that it didn't, it's not a big deal. And you can be calling up people around them. I just need somebody to focus on so the stories make sense,
But do you think that they really did that with Mandy? Because when I look at it, and I think that, yes, there were some people that there were some great matches and people that she elevated, but I think she really elevated Toxic Attraction, BG and JC, a little bit more than individual women.
Yeah, that's fair. But there was also a lot of work that Mandy needed to do on herself and her tag team. So I think that elevating them was definitely part of the mission statement on that one. We have to get you to a place where it makes sense while you're here.
And it did, and it was pretty.
And
quick.
It did. Yeah. And you ended up with a roster full of women who had matches that you believed that they could take it off of. Every single person that ever went against Mandy, people went, yeah, she's the one. She's the one to take the title off. She's ready to be champion. That's also the sign of a really good champion, that you've made it seem that every single person who's going up against you deserves that title right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really excited about the potential long-term story with Roxanne. Whatever we get with Roxanne. She's a badass. I don't know. It's cool, and I'm excited for that. But do you want to talk AEW?
Sure.
I just wish I had more to say about Roxanne because I'm so excited for her, and a lot of her win is being overshadowed by Mandy.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Roxanne, I think, she's going to be great. Oh, yeah. I think what's really going to get Roxanne away from the whole Mandy situation, I think, is going to be about who the first challenger is going to be, and how they will present that. Yeah. Because obviously it's not going to be Cora.
Yeah, you got to avoid the Cora story for now.
Yeah, but who would it be? Right now, I really honestly, I can't really think of anybody.
You could get Isla Dawn there in short order with her stuff with Alba and her being pretty wicked and evil. You could probably get Isla Dawn there as her first.
That'd be a good one.
She wouldn't win because she's early and people go, oh, why is she in this? But I think it'd make Isla look good and like,
I do kind of feel, though, I will say this. I kind of want it. It almost seems like now that Roxanne's in that position, I kind of am like, damn it, I wanted an Alba Fire run. I really kind of did.
Yes. Yes. I thought Alba Fire would have been the one.
Yeah, you were saying that episode 1.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing with Alba Fire enough to know, like, does she really need more time down there or no? I feel like that her character, they're still kind of like fleshing out this Alba Fire version of hers. But I feel like she could do that on the main roster too. I feel like Yeah, put an end to this eyelid on stuff, and let's move on with a few of these.
Yeah.
Let's see. AEW.
Now, you did not watch Ring of Honor,
No,
right?
yeah, but we could talk about a few things. So talk about Ring of Honor, talk about Suzuki, because there was news
Mhm.
about Suzuki.
Oh, where to begin? Should we talk about Suzuki first?
Yeah, what
Okay.
happened with him?
Well, with sad news, Minoru Suzuki, everyone knew his contract with New Japan was up this year. So a lot of people thought that his tour of the States was kind of his last hurrah.
Yeah,
I don't
thought it was.
know. I really don't know. Because Murder Grandpa is one of these ones where a lot of people are saying he's signing with Noah. I don't know about that. But his contract is up officially. Ended this year. And as of Wrestle Kingdom, that's the end of Suzuki-gun. So he is doing one more match, not affiliated with Suzuki-gun at all. It's actually, he's going to be wrestling with Tiger Mask and Fujinami against some of the old school guys, Nagata, Kojima, and Makabe. And this is a memorial for Antonio Inoki, who, you know who Antonio Inoki is. He's basically New Japan dude, who the company is after. So it's very sad because, there were a lot of really, with Suzuki-gun, there were a lot of really great things that came out of them. One of my favorite tag teams that were in Japan ever, Killer Elite Squad. That was really kind of cool to see that. That was awesome. Obviously, Zack Sabre Jr. having Taka Michinoku around there for a while. As much as I hate Tai Chi and those stupid rip-off pants, yeah. Okay. He's kind of awesome. Then, of course, the man I like to call Japanese Bill Murray. The guy that always has the Centauri whiskey bottle with him. That's why I call him Japanese Bill Murray.
Very good.
And then, of course, Desperado. So Despy. So it's kind of a, band of hooligans. What's going to happen? Are they all going to disband? Or are we going to have another Brit lead another faction? Personally, I'd love to see the other Brit, Zack Sabre Jr., run the faction. But you know what?
That could be cool.
That would be very awesome because he can also basically make stupid people cry. Anyways, so shout out to a great career with New Japan. Hopefully, we haven't seen the last of Murder Grandpa.
Yeah,
because I still want a photo with him without a mask on. But here's to Suzuki-gun. Oh.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I made a point to see him when he was in LA. Was I didn't know. I thought it was his last kind of ride, and then at one point, I want to say like that October, he posted a picture of himself going on a plane and said goodbye America, and it really felt like that was it. He wasn't going to come back. Then he came back like a couple months later, and I was like, oh, he's doing some shit again.
He's like, he was saying goodbye for now. He's like,
yeah. So everything at this point, with how much he's done in his career and all the matches he's had on the levels that he's had them and how long he's been doing it, I feel like every time he does anything, people go, that's the end. Yeah, he's done. And I just don't know anymore. I don't know when he's done.
It's fucking Murder Grandpa. We call him Murder Grandpa for a reason.
Yeah.
It happens. It's like, yes. Which I like to myself. I like to lay claim to this. Is I remember, a long while ago, at least 4 or 5 years ago, maybe, I started calling him that because and it's funny how sometimes things catch on the internet. I'm just saying.
Well,
but anyways, but no. Wrestle Kingdom is going to be very interesting. A lot of people are like, oh, because as we talk about, when we're talking now about the Final Battle. Sorry, got my ROH.
Yeah.
Thing. Well, we know that the FTR lost the ROH title.
Yep, FTR lost their title. They put it back on the Briscoes.
Yeah.
Jericho lost the title to Castagnoli. Mercedes lost the title to Athena.
And
I think even Daniel Garcia lose it to Yuta. Yeah.
Sure did.
And even Dalton Castle lost their titles too, right? To the Gates of Agony.
Ryan
So
Cage
everyone lost their titles but Samoa Joe, correct?
He only lost one. Wait,
Samoa
no.
Joe lost the title?
No, he did not. Wait, who did Samoa Joe wrestle?
Juice Robinson.
No, he didn't lose anything.
So Samoa Joe's the only one who retained. But if you remember when they did the last one where everyone won the titles and they were all AEW talent, remember I said, they're putting all the titles on AEW talent so they can put on AEW. And then once they have some sort of TV deal or something with Ring of Honor, they're going to finally lose all the titles to everyone in Ring of Honor so they can have talent. And that's exactly what they just did.
Yep. You were right. You called that on
Tony. Because Tony's so easy to he does everything that's obvious.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say this. All right. I know he was injured, so that's why he wasn't there. But goddamn, Tony Khan, you fucking obviously signed Colt Cabana to Ring of Honor. Okay. You let him face Jericho. Okay. I guess so. I'm supposed to, as a fan, I'm supposed to be okay with that. No, why didn't you fly him out so he could do commentary or something?
I didn't want you, so.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing this in the universe. But I will say this: a lot of people are talking about FTR. They're like, they're going to drop the IWGP title. I don't think so because of who they're wrestling. I'm sorry, I would not give that to fucking Yoshihashi and Goto. Boring. No. If you're going to give it to somebody, you're going to give it to someone with, who's got at least a somewhat decent faction. God damn it. I'm not saying, keep dangerous techers together, but you know what? God damn it. Yeah, it's not going down that way. It's going to be something else. So just want to throw that out in the universe.
So they also announced that the Ring of Honor TV deal is actually not a TV deal. They're just going to go back to streaming on their website for $10 a month.
No pay-per-views though.
They said 90 days after the pay-per-view it'll show up on there. So they're still going to do pay-per-views. You have to buy them.
The allure with the original Honor Club was you either paid $9.99 a month and you got no pay-per-views, even if it were 90 days, whatever. None. If you paid $149 for the year flat, you got all the pay-per-views. Now, here's the thing. How many pay-per-views are you going to be doing, Tony?
Probably 4 or 5, like he does with AEW.
Well, my thing is, as a Ring of Honor person, I say that obviously Final Battle is always always one. That's before Dishonor, Global Wars, the anniversary, and I'll even go there to maybe say, Super Card of Honor. That's the only thing I want to go to in LA because I know that if I go to Super Card of Honor, the likelihood of me seeing Colt Cabana is high. But then also, because this is a Tony Khan bullshit thing, the likelihood of me sitting where I want to sit is very low. So, but hey, but I do know this, and I will say this. There are people who obviously you got to know somebody. And it was solidified to me watching Final Battle. If you know people, and I think this is bullshit. Tony Khan, you better fucking know this face and know my name. And you better put some fucking respect on my name and let me fucking sit in the goddamn front row. I'm just saying. Anyways, TED Talk, done. But I want to say that would I pay the $9.99? Yeah, because I want to watch old Ring of Honor stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what he's banking on is people watching the old stuff. So for $10 a month, you can get all the stuff, and then 90 days after the fact, you can get the pay-per-views. And then I think the pay-per-view is probably going to be like $40-50 a month. So you get about $300 a year out of Ring of Honor fans.
Yeah, but if I'm not getting out of Ring of Honor what I want out of Ring of Honor and what I should have out of Ring of Honor, no. Now, interesting. Also, Ring of Honor is doing a deal with AAA. I thought was very interesting. I saw. So, in my mind of minds, guess there were two people who were signed recently to work AAA.
No idea. Cain Velasquez. I know that.
Well, no, I don't think we'll be seeing Cain Velasquez on Ring of Honor. But you know who we might see? Flip Gordon. And yes, we're going there with Marty. Yes, I believe we're gonna see Marty. And you people, you need to fucking better fucking put those big girl panties on and fucking deal with it, people. It's gonna happen. Deal with it. That's my prediction. I'd also like to see Sam on there too. I know you don't like Sam, his character, but but that would be a great addition. We are getting a little bit more lucha libre, so I don't know. Does this mean that we might see more of like obviously Roosh and all them, but are we going to see more of like Penta and Phoenix, Lucha Brothers, and that? Are we going to see more of that over there? Who knows? But it'll be very interesting to see. And if you're not giving me more Colt Cabana, because then Tony Khan, your shit is bullshit. We all know what you did. Just confess to it. It's fine. But anyways, so it'll be very interesting to see. Will I pay my $9.99? I would be willing to trade with somebody, but I don't know if I'd pay for it. And I really hope that hashtag honor girl shit does not come back. Please, no. We don't care about one small little section of fans. It should be about everybody. And I will die on that hill.
Well, I also saw somewhere that this was like their worst buy rate for Ring of Honor pay-per-view. So I think everyone saw what was kind of happening anyways, and they were already kind of like out on it. I do think it's pretty cool for Athena. I think this could be good for her.
It was about time she got a title. Granted, really, she should have been the one to beat Jade Cargill, but whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just my thing.
But she clearly wasn't getting. They weren't utilizing her in any way that showed what he was saying, what Tony was saying when they brought in Athena, that like he wanted to do a lot of big stuff with her, and they weren't utilizing her in that way at all, and she was poorly utilized on AEW TV. So this might be just a good place for her to kind of sit and get better and be the top of a division for a little bit, But yeah, it does feel like it reminds me of when Ring of Honor was on Fight TV. And it was just like this void that no one was really paying attention to, but except for the hardcore fans who were already there. Like I remember having Fight TV on my phone, and I followed Ring of Honor, and I downloaded a bunch of episodes, and I watched 3 or 4 episodes, like not even in their entirety. And I was like, I don't know, I would forget it was on. I would forget when to go back to it. Like I just think that it being in its own little bubble there is just going to keep it in its little bubble there.
Well, also, when they're going to film these things? So does this now mean that Rampage and Dynamite are going to be like 7-hour tapings?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was wondering too. When he's supposed to film it, I would imagine, I would think. I don't think they said it, but I would, if I'm thinking like Tony Khan does, you just film it in that state studio that you've been filming all the dark shows in. And then it's just its own little bubble you do whenever.
That's not fair. That means Florida gets more shit in Orlando. That's not fair.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck.
I know he doesn't give a fuck, but I give a fuck. Not fair.
He just wants the adulation for saving a dead brand. He doesn't want to make it better.
No. You want to know how a brand would have been saved? Right? I'll tell you. That brand wouldn't have died had they not made Matt Taven the champion. Okay, I'm going there again. Yeah, that brand would not have died. That brand would have been fine. And then especially because they got a new booker out of it too. But I digress.
But yeah, I didn't really care for the. I saw a few things. I was happy for Athena. I didn't really care about any of the rest. I feel like eventually I'll watch the Briscoes and FTR, but I feel like. Say what?
It was okay. Yeah. But if there is a match to watch, I say watch Shane Taylor Promotions versus Swerve in Our Glory.
Oh, that's interesting.
I like that.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, no one would have thought that. But the only reason why I say that is because, first of all, I want to say, one, it's about damn time that Tony actually used Shane Taylor and his guys. Shane Taylor and I actually will agree with the commentary on this one. They're like, yeah, he was one of the ones who really elevated that TV championship when he was the TV champion. And they had some other people they mentioned. They mentioned Jeff Cobb, who was one. Of course, we didn't mention, but we're not going there. We're not going to go there. I know why you can't. But you know what? Give credit to where credit is due, because there were a lot of really good champions. But this was great to see, not only because of the old tag team, the Pretty Boy Killers, which was Keith Lee and Shane Taylor, but just to see all of them all work together. It was amazing. And this was for those people. When's that whole thing with Swerve when is it gonna collide? It collided, and it was this payoff was better than I thought it was going to be with that. So I really enjoyed that match. I personally thought it was match of the night, but a lot of people are, you're crazy. I'm like, no, I thought it was, because it was very, very amazing to see. And especially because you've got two really big dudes, and Shane Taylor used to be pretty damn big, but Keith Lee made him look small. And I was like, holy shit. Either Keith Lee got really, really big, or I don't know, but it was fascinating to see. Then especially the two of them punching each other. It was like, oh my God. It took a lot for them to knock each other down. And it was pretty badass if you like that kind of shit. So that's my recommendation.
I heard Joe looked really good.
Joe did. Joe, I was worried about Joe for a while because he was looking really winded and just looked awful. But Joe's coming back in form. So that was very exciting to see. And also, I like Juice Robinson. Not going to lie. I love Juice. Yeah. That's an underrated person.
I've liked him too, but I also heard that he was underwhelming in this one. But
he was.
Joe was really good.
I think it's more of with Juice. You got to realize the guy was in Japan. The guy going back and forth right now. I mean, he was in Japan, came back, and he's been doing a lot of back and forth. So, yeah. But it was, I like him, but he wasn't the Juice. But it was more of really, look how fucking great Joe's looking.
That's good.
Yeah, that was my big take on that one.
Did you have stuff from AEW that you want to talk about?
Yeah. Hello. Oh, yeah.
I skipped the beginning, and I mean, I let it play while I was doing other stuff. So I saw that the Death Triangle and the Elite were doing their thing. Nick pretended to have an injury, pretended he was tough to come back, and then pretended to limp back. And
I'm bored.
He's just so phony.
Yeah, and you want to know what also pisses me off about it? Okay. All right, they're using this hammer. They've used that fucking hammer in almost every fucking one of these matches. Okay. And they already, so we all know that they've never had a no DQ match to save their ass. Everything is a no DQ. Why do you have to make the next one or whatever one? It's a no DQ.
I thought that was so stupid because, to go, this next one's a no DQ. Well, the last three were no DQ.
Yeah.
Because if you could be disqualified, you would have been disqualified for a bunch of shit that happened. every time they go out, especially after a tag match, and they go, let's do a no DQ one. Like, fuck off. Like they all are no DQ. It undermines what could be a cool stipulation by not abiding by any rules to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I rolled my eyes literally when they said no DQ.
I knew you. I had
They
when I
all
watched
are.
it.
So stupid.
When I watched it, the first thing I thought when they said that, I'm like, Marsh is sitting there like, fuck, rolling his eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
The
like,
only
Marsh
difference
is
means
having
you're
a
going to use actual weapons instead of just cheating in every other way.
Yeah. I'm like, Marsh is having a tirade on this one. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, no. So I will also disclose that I did not see it when it was live. I was at a trade show and I went out to dinner. Took my mom out to dinner after it. So I said I will watch it live when it happens on the West Coast.
Yeah.
No spoilers, no nothing. So shout out to everybody not spoiling AEW for me yesterday.
That's good.
So, but yeah, I knew you were. I'm already done with it. And when they said that the last one is that, and I'm sorry, I don't know what in Spanish, but it's fucking basically a ladder match.
It's just a ladder match. And he had to say it all stupid. I was like,
okay, you're gonna say in Spanish. Why? Because they're in LA. You're in LA. That's the last match at the Forum. So you're gonna be all fancy like that? Fuck off. Yeah. So once they said that, I'm like, I know where this is going to go. They're going, and we all knew they were going to go to best of 7. They were going to go all the way, and we all, I think, know who's going to get the belt. Yeah.
So bad.
If it's not, if Death Triangles manages to keep it, I will be shocked.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. MJF's backstage promo. I thought it was okay. I saw a lot of people talking, like, giving it massive, but I just thought it was okay. I also thought it was funny and ironic, and I can't tell. Because I'm told how brilliant he is all the time, I have a hard time telling if he understands when he's being hypocritical versus actually just being hypocritical. Because he was trying to talk shit on Ricky's promo, saying that he took a long time to get there and he talks in roundabout circles and stuff. And that's like vintage MJF. He talks for fucking ever to say one thing and almost none of it compelling and most of it repetitive, that I can't tell if he's working, saying like, oh, I'll make fun of how he talks in circles like I do, but I do, you know what I mean? Or if he's actually just unaware that he does the same thing. It's just hard to tell with him. And only because if it wasn't for everyone saying he's a genius all the time, I'd say, oh, he's being stupid. He doesn't realize that he's this way. But because everyone's like, he's a genius, I was like, I guess if he's a genius, then maybe he's doing it on purpose, but I can't tell. So, which is probably a good thing. I won't knock him for that. That's a good thing if I can't tell. If you've worked enough of the audience to make them fight for you so you don't have to, great.
Well, since I wasn't there to comment last on episode 1 about Ricky's promo, and this is where I will say to you, Marsh, because I think, didn't you say that you thought that it was scripted?
He knew what he was going to say.
Well, he obviously knew. He knew what he was going to say. I don't think
it wasn't scripted for him. He scripted himself.
Yeah, but he knew what he was going to say. And it did come out of the bag that he did write it down. But honestly, like, I think that...
Which is scripted. That's what scripted means. And I think people also get that shit confused. Because I also think that there's nothing wrong with scripting your promos.
No, there's nothing wrong with having bullet points and whatever.
Now, there's nothing wrong with you rehearsing your promos to get it right so it sounds right, and you're being scripted because you're sticking to your script that you wrote. It's the problem is when someone who doesn't know your voice tries to write you a script and tell you to stick outside of your voice. That's a problem. Yeah. Ricky wrote his own script and it looked obvious to me, but I thought he nailed it because he wrote his own script and stuck to it.
Now, this is where I don't understand why people think that MJF is so great. If he was so great, he wouldn't have looked like deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm like, you just got shot down and bitch slapped across the world. And if people don't realize, if people who are championing you and saying how great you are, well, how come you didn't fire back?
Yeah.
It's because that's not you. You have to go and really think about it and then deliver it at another time. You can't do it off the cuff. Because if you could do it off the cuff, you would have, and it would have been amazing.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah. So that's where I felt his promo was like,
that was 100% what I thought.
Too late. You had to sit there and you had to wait a week. Okay. By that time, everyone, including myself, had watched that promo. Ricky cut you down like a billion times. And every time I'm just like, that's the fucking man right there.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, you won over a lot of people. Okay, he did. Right? The Pebble won. But I'm sitting there like, dude, bro, if it took you a week to get back to him on this, I mean, had he, if he had recorded something and, put it on the interwebs and whatever, maybe I'd give him a little bit more credit, but it took you a fucking week.
Yeah.
So Asuka's kind of like, all right, whatever, typical MJF. I know you didn't like him calling you a maxi pad, but I will say this because as I scroll on YouTube, I saw on Cornette's thing that whoever does his art drew MJF as a maxi pad with his face. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was great. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, yeah, and they even had the little.
I think his digital guy is Travis Heckel. I think it's Travis Heckel is the guy who does his art.
Well, whoever did it was great because the attention to detail down to the little fucking dry weave strip was amazing. So shout out to you, dude. That's hilarious. Good. I cracked up. Couldn't contain myself.
That's good. Yeah. But yeah, I agree because I think I'd mentioned that too, or at least I was alluding to it, that he didn't come back at him at all. And it made me think that if this were back in the day and you really had two dudes who could just go at it on the mic, they would have gone back and forth on the mic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That it really came off as, and you're not going to like this part either, it looked like Ricky waiting for his time to say his lines. And then, first off, MJF is going to recite what he has prepared. Ricky was waiting for his moment to recite what he had prepared. And then since no one had anything else prepared, then we're going to do this melee thing. And I think that had this been two people who really could go back and forth on the mic, no problem, you could have had a couple more jabs here and there. Not even a ton, not diatribes. Like, let's not do diatribes. Let's get people off their game. If you go back and watch The Rock and Triple H cut promos on each other, they don't sit there and wait and then say their part, and then after the other part go, okay, well, we're done here. They still dig it in. They dig in a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, two dudes who are confident and can do it will go back and forth. The Rock and Triple H had a lot of issues early on, though, because The Rock stuck to script and Triple H wouldn't, and that would frustrate The Rock, and he would walk out. You know what I mean? Like, he would just be like, well, I don't have anything else to say. I haven't prepared anything. And that's kind of what this looked like with MJF to me. Like, hey, man, maybe you need to get a little looser on the mic. I don't know. They're getting awfully prepared, but it is working in this particular scenario in this particular moment. So,
well, I also think with Ricky is that I don't understand, but it almost seems like he's trying to be polite, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you should be showing no mercy.
Yeah.
Okay. You're probably not going to get this kind of TV time for a long time.
That was it. Yep.
Right. And you better fucking be cashing in, every fucking 5-cent word and whatever. Even if it might be slightly obnoxious, you got to do it. It's like the whole, it's like Hamilton, the whole, that song, My Shot, I'm not throwing away my shot, because I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and blah, blah, blah. You're trying to say that that's what you are, but you should take more advantage of it. And make it so you're undeniable, right?
Yeah.
You want people to want more. Would I have liked more? Absolutely. But it's now. Now we look at it, I'm like, there was a lot of opportunity that was missed. And for somebody who is really, really hungry and you want it that bad, you should have gone for the jugular. That's my big comment about it. And I would have said this on episode 1 too. The Ricky Starks edition. So, I mean, that was the biggest problem with it. But I will say that MJF, he did what he had to do. Yeah, it's like, okay, too little, too late. Did it excite me more for the match? No. It just kind of solidified to me that this is not going to go the way I want it to go.
Yeah.
That's all it did for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What was next?
Jeff Jarrett attacked the Acclaimed. I'd be all right if Jarrett and Lethal won the tag titles. Oh, bother me one bit.
That'd be a good one. That would really be a good one.
Yeah.
And I would really love to see. This would be great. Throwback to early vintage Sanjay Dutt. I would have loved to seen him bust out and come and rap battle with fucking Caster. Just saying. I would love that. But
yeah.
That'd be great. So I actually, this is probably one of the ones, tag matches, potential ones against the Acclaim that I'm actually looking forward to.
Jeff Jarrett rapping against Acclaimed?
No, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal versus the Acclaimed.
In a rap battle?
Well, no, in a wrestling match. Not a rap battle.
That's good too.
God, that would be so white of Jeff Jarrett. No, come on now.
Yeah, I'd be right with that. Let's see. There was a bunch of stuff on the show I didn't really care for.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Brian Cage and Jack Perry, fine.
What the fuck does Hook have anything to do with anything?
Yeah, I don't give a shit about Hook or any of that stuff. I know everyone's talking about how the team has to happen because they could be called Jungle Hook, and then people are already doing like Jungle Book logos and stuff, and it's so stupid because they're gonna do it because Tony does anything he thinks is funny and cute. And okay. Yeah, House of Black versus some jobbers in a really quick thing that was like fine. Britt Baker talks too fucking much, and Sky Blue came out and did an okay job.
Mm-hmm.
But Britt Baker's, gosh, she's just so severely overrated. It's hard to really nail down like all the ways that it's all like, what are you guys talking about? Action Andretti versus Jericho. And that was okay, but it didn't mean anything to me. But
who the fuck is Action Andretti? All I know is I
never heard of him. I thought you might know who he is.
And all I know is it looked like he was a light-skinned black version of Will Ospreay.
Oh, yeah, kind of.
And he annoyed me right away because I thought that, oh my god, this is a black version of. Sorry, I'm not being racist. I'm just saying it was a light-skinned version.
Yeah.
Of Will Ospreay, and I'm like, this is awful. And is it nice to see Jericho lose? Yeah. It would have been nicer to see Jericho lose to goddamn Colt Cabana. But whatever.
Yeah. I saw someone else point out how funny it was to them. They said it was like peak Jericho that he clearly attaches himself to anybody who's popular and beats them and says that they got the rub and pretends he's elevating talent and destroy them, but then loses absolutely clean in the middle to an absolute nobody for some weird thing. Like after the fact is kind of funny. And yeah, I mean, he has to win all of his things, right? No one's ever gotten the better of him in anything. Like he always has enough matches until he is the one on top. So it's just kind of funny. I didn't care about it. I didn't care about the win or him yelling backstage. It's cool for that kid. And, he's got a contract now with AEW. So I'm happy for him, always good to have somebody get work, but yeah, no, I was, it's fine-ish. What was the other thing? Oh, the FTR video package against the Gun Club. FTR is really good at talking. Mm-hmm. They make it seem legit.
Yeah, they're beyond legit with that.
Yeah.
But I ask myself, why?
Yeah.
The Gun Club annoys the shit out of me. So why?
Yeah, it didn't make me want to see the match. It just made me appreciate how good FTR is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same feeling.
Soho and Tay Mello was not a
Awful.
good match. It was not a good match.
No.
I was happy that Soho won because I thought maybe this will be the end of it, and then Anna Jay comes out because they can't do anything without overdoing it, and so I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh fuck!" So, but yeah, it was rough to watch that
It's
one.
very rough. Mhm.
And I think Ruby is so much better than all of that they need to get her away from talent like this.
Mhm.
So fuck, put Ruby in fucking Ring of Honor, man. Fuck, if this is
Man,
what
I'd
you're gonna
love to
do to
see
her,
Ruby and Athena go, and I'd like to
that's
see
what I
things.
mean.
Mhm.
Make a big rivalry between
Mercedes.
Ruby and Athena, and yeah,
Mhm.
Mercedes. Have them be running Ring of Honor like crazy and just having
Mhm.
fucking banger matches that everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, and then Ricky Starks cuts his promo, and we get to the main event. So I do want to say right before this match, honestly, like same day, this came out, and I said, well, that solidifies him. He's done. He did an interview that came out that said the Punk thing helped. Him saying those things about me really helped. Because Punk put him over right away. He goes, what would have been great
Punk put
was
him
that
over once.
yeah.
Once.
Yeah.
Okay. Ricky Starks, he put you over once. Okay. Phil Brooks, as we all know, does not care about anybody. But Phil Brooks, that
For sure.
ugly fucking dog.
He said it to put himself over.
Yeah.
Every time CM Punk mentions a younger talent to hear the crowd, it's to put himself over so he can be like, see, guys, I know what you want. Like,
And if I am not mistaken, when he had mentioned Ricky Starks' name, the crowd really didn't give a fuck. Let's go there.
sure, but the idea is that Punk was talking about him to put Punk over, and Ricky thinks that it put him over, and I think that Punk was putting himself over and using Ricky's name to do that because Ricky's a young, hot up-and-comer. And he says,
not in anybody's eyes, because what was he? He was walking around with a title that didn't mean shit
to the fans, Amanda.
No, but even then, the fans weren't like crazy like they are now.
Yes, they were.
No, they were not.
They've heated up for sure, but everyone, every time he ever came on TV, was Ricky's going to be a star.
Not everybody.
I saw it nonstop, except for Splinter Fox. That dude's crazy.
Well, no, not everyone said that. Not everyone.
Okay, do you want me to finish reading this fucking quote or not?
I've seen the haters, but no, keep going.
Okay.
I hate Phil, but anyways, continue.
He said things that were. He goes. What would have been great would be actually have the match with him. He goes. Things were kind of leading up to that. I thought. That's one of the minor things that I'm actually annoyed about is that I'll never actually get to have that match. It's not a stroke to my own ego, but it's about iron really sharpening iron. I'm the type of person who would be able to benefit from that in terms of excelling in my talent. At the time where Hobbs turned on me, I think we were already there, crowd reacting favorably, momentum, and it was already a rolling, boiling. Things had to have happened in that sense. Otherwise, to go another 6 or 8 months and really just float in limbo would not have been very beneficial to me, I think. And then he says, I thought Punk, Regal, these people that came in were great additions to the locker room. Great additions in terms of what they provided. I know personally I was able to talk to Punk a lot and get help on my promos and things like that. Same with Regal because I've known him for so long. It was kind of a blow to that. It was kind of a blow that both of these guys left. I am hopeful that down the line I do get that matchup. If not, I get it. That's how business is. But it would be nice. It would be nice to be able to work with somebody of that caliber because I've yet to work with besides Sting. I've yet to work with somebody of such a high caliber, and the Sting match was a year or two ago. So yeah, he says all that in a thing, and I go, okay, well now you're back in the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega land. There's no way they're going to try and pull a fast one now. Like, he's going to have this match and disappear for a while. I think it's going to be cooled off after this. I thought the match was pretty good. I wish that MJF didn't get so much offense in because I really felt like this match really didn't give Starks any kind of like out or competitive edge. It was really like yep, Starks is not this good. MJF is better, was how the match kind of was formulated.
Mhm.
And so you kind of watch it and you go, yeah, there's no reason to revisit this. And so that kind of bummed me out, but that's what I got out of it. What do you think of the match? What do you think of his comments? What do you think of his promo? I thought his promo was sick.
His promo is amazing. And I would like to say this publicly, and you can tell him that I said this. Hell, I'll even fucking go somehow force him to listen to what I'm about to say. As talented as Ricky Starks is with the microphone, going to Phil Brooks, and I'm not saying this because I don't like Phil Brooks, going to Phil Brooks, who I think the curtain has been pulled back and we see he's really not as great as everyone really thought or thinks he is.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And yeah, you did something that was kind of, I want to say forbidden, but yeah, when you cut that pipe bomb promo, yeah, no one did that. No one's done that because no one had balls. No one was an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
They knew their role, just because, you're a selfish prick and you wanted to do that. I don't think that was the right person to go for promo advice to. 1. 2, William Regal never said anything about Ricky Starks, to be quite honest. I don't think I remember ever hearing that, but whatever. Punk only, again, like I said, mentioned Ricky Starks once. If you were going to Punk all the time, it's probably because everyone thought he was an asshole and no one wanted to talk to him. But you are too busy, speaking of having a nose that's darker than the rest of your body, call a spade a spade. But I really feel that, that really set him back. Because anybody who's going to die on that hill, that's like suicide.
Yeah.
That's basically like booking. It's almost like booking Joey Ryan to do a wrestling match in these times. Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
You will never get that match unless, someone in Saudi Arabia really likes Ricky Starks and really likes CM Punk, and maybe they'll pay for it. So other than that, you're not going to get that match. And I think that those kind of comments, because he talked to a reporter who was from Chicago, or we'll use those in quotes, reporter, it doesn't earn you brownie points.
Mm-hmm.
No. You just basically stabbed your career. So when people are talking, oh, well, what's next? He lost this. Well, guess what? You just basically kicked yourself in the ass and put you back in a line where Tony Khan's not going to give a fuck. So what is there left to do? Nothing. Because what are they doing right now? Will Hobbs is getting this big ass push with these big vignettes about him in Oakland. And what are you doing? Yeah. So by the time that Will Hobbs gets to his home area, I am pretty sure on that pay-per-view, he's going to be wrestling for a belt and will probably win it there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling it now. Episode 1. You can quote me on that. For Ricky, what do you have now? You're going to go back and job again. All you are is a jobber now. It's sad. Even Marsh said me, I like jobbers. Well, I guess I do.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
You do like
It is
jobbers.
true.
You're
It
big
is
on
true. Mm-hmm. But I think right now, there's only 2 things for Ricky Starks to do. You can put him on Ring of Honor, which if he did, I would laugh, but that's a personal story. Or he's going to be sitting on the shelf and he's going to get disgruntled. And you know what? Here's the thing. You're showing that you're taking sides. So when you're getting desperate and toward the end of whenever your contract ends, which I don't know because we don't know anything about this kind of stuff, the likelihood that Cody Rhodes is going to want to put you under his wing and give you like the good word of Ricky Starks to Triple H, maybe not, because of what you just did and opening your mouth that way.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't think him like hitching his wagon to CM Punk now was the best move, because even if you felt that way at the time, you could just not say all that stuff.
No,
you know what I mean? Because Punk is Punk's out for Punk, and if he makes it over to WWE, it's because of a deal that Punk has for himself, and no one's listening to him for him. You know what I mean? Like no one's calling CM Punk because they think that he's got good advice or that he's going to help the locker room. Anyone who's calling CM Punk is because they think there's money still on the table to be made, and that it's worth making the money, right? No one's doing it because they're like, oh, CM Punk's good for the locker room. He's good for the young talent. This will be perfect. They're going to be like, no, let's bring him in as little and as limited as possible and make the most amount of money. Like,
and by kissing his ass, you're serving no purpose for yourself.
No, because even if CM Punk walks in the door and says, oh, you should give Ricky a look, they're going to say, okay. And they're not going to look because they don't shit what he thinks.
Because like my big thing is, it's like, Ricky, he's been to the Performance Center at least 3 times, maybe 4. And if they were knocking on your door after Tony Khan was interested, it's probably just because I think, you know, they were going to look. They were going to look. But Tony was so, at the time, hell-bent on bringing people in at that time that he didn't know that there would be this plethora of people like leaving WWE.
Yeah.
That he could sign. He didn't know that. So unfortunately, it's timing.
Yeah.
So timing and having a big mouth. You gotta sometimes, you gotta be Switzerland. Okay?
Yeah.
Everyone's gotta be, you gotta be like Colt Cabana. Just be quiet. Don't make waves. If you want to, say it in private. But don't make waves.
Yeah.
And it's really sad because the story to have MJF be the one who is all this fucking hype and he loses it on his first defense would have been great. And that would have set Ricky up for something.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he were to move on to other pastures, he was the one that shut up the big mouth. But since you couldn't help yourself, you're paying for it now. And I honestly will say that I believed that he was going to get them. I believed it. I think I was the only person who believed it besides Ricky. He was going to get that belt. Because
as you said this, I knew there was no fucking chance. Because I was thinking you could do some clever things with it.
Yeah.
But even coming off of this, everyone's going like, yeah, Ricky's really good. If he resigns, he should stay in kind of a top spot. He should be used more. And it's kind of like, that's still not saying like no one was behind him, dude. Like a bunch of people were kind of like, yeah, that was the right move. Yeah, that's the right move. And I was like, fuck, because I don't know that he hasn't hit at least a cap for now. I think it's going to be another year or 2 before he's even on the table again.
No, nope, he will not be on the table. So his big thing is either if you want some kind of belt, you're either going to have to be in a trios or a tag team. Because let's face it,
Bishop's in the chat. He says, sorry, Amanda, but Ricky's never going to reach his potential in AEW.
Nope. He's done. I agree. He's done. He opened his mouth.
I think that he needs to do what it's going to take to get to WWE, and I don't think kissing CM Punk's ass is the move either.
And also, Cody's not going to save him from that kind of bullshit. Cody's probably thinking, why the fuck would you ever do that? If I were Cody, I would say that. Why the fuck would you ever do that? And honestly, like, I almost want to say to him, Ricky, why the fuck? Seriously, why the fuck would you do that? Do you want to wrestle? You know,
Well,
because
and
obviously,
CM Punk's not exactly coming out and talking about all the people who did him well. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He's just letting everyone bicker and he's walking away like he always
he's
does.
walking
CM Punk
away,
doesn't give a fuck.
and then he's talking shit about the company and everything.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, if you want advice from people, you probably should take some advice from, you know, Cody's other friends who founded that company too, and been just silence is golden.
Hmm.
You know, Ricky is, you know, what's going to happen? Well, you know what? If he doesn't get the WWE, there's Impact and there's MLW. Because Japan, he went to DDT. DDT apparently, I guess, has that thing with AEW. So guess what? You're probably not going to get anything out of that. Okay. Obviously, you know, you're too cool for school, and you probably missed any opportunity that you would have had with New Japan Strong and doing that. You missed any of that. Noah won't touch you with a 10-foot pole because they really haven't been bringing Gaijin in years. So I don't know. So again, it's his fault. I know that. I mean, shit. He was very complacent when he was on the indies. He didn't understand why people wouldn't book him. And it's like, he's like, I'm great. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? If people don't know who the fuck you are, you got to give people a reason to book you. Okay. Not take, you know, whatever.
That's true. I mean, fuck, you wouldn't like this either, but just look at that Luigi Prima guy, that pizza guy. He's terrible at wrestling. Like he's mediocre at best.
Yeah, but
He's got people.
Shit than Ricky. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah, that's where my sentence was headed, is that he's got people who know who he is, and he's got people talking about him, and that's what it takes more so than being good. I mean, even look at Danhausen. Danhausen said, I actually think he's very good, but he just doesn't wrestle as good as he can because he knows it's not what got him booked. Like he used to just be a regular guy who was wrestling all the time. Like he was kind of a Gargano. He just was out there looking like him and talking like him and just wrestling. And he said no one really cared how good his chain wrestling got or any of that stuff until he started doing the Danhausen character. And then people started talking about him and look at how far it's gotten him. It wasn't how good he is at wrestling. It was how much people were talking about him and how much people wanted to buy his shit, you know?
Well, you know, with Ricky,
And then,
you know, my thing is, you know, you've got to be more than just a pretty face, guy who's good on the mic, and well-rounded. You have to make someone interested. Granted, I will say this. I kind of was wishing and hoping that when MJF did the whole, when he's grabbing his tights for that one pin, I was hoping everyone would see the peach. I was like, at least this way, you know, they can get something good out of it. But, you know.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even get that. I got saggy diaper Ricky.
Yeah.
But
and the match wasn't bad. It just wasn't good for Ricky.
It didn't make him look good at all. It made him look like a chump.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't even like the physical execution of it all. Like their chemistry was just fine, but the way the match was put together just made you kind of go, he's a chump.
But also MJF's not really that great of a wrestler either. So
he could put together a good match.
He can put together a good match, but he's not that great of a wrestler. So for me, it's like, okay, how many times did we get the spot where he was holding onto the rope and Paul Turner didn't see it until like the 12th time?
Yeah, and I hated that shit too, where Paul Turner kicks his arm. Just kicks him, and then that's how Ricky's able to get out of it. Like Ricky can't get out of the move that everyone can get out of every time we ever see it. But
because he stomped on his elbow accidentally. And my thing is, it's like, okay, bro, you know, yeah, you almost lost your career because of that neck injury. But my question is, what have you done other than whine to put you where you are? What have you done? Yeah, nothing. You're riding on the coattails of an asshole who doesn't give a fuck about anything. You know, he took his money. He's like, I took my millions and ran. Okay. Who are you? You weren't even, okay. If he was that fucking, if Punk believed in him that much, he would have had a match. It would have been him instead of Will Hobbs. But do you want to know why Will Hobbs got the match, Ricky? Because people in the back love themselves some Will Hobbs. They champion him. Who's got your back there? You got to look at that. Why do you think Colt Cabana still has a job? Who has his fucking back? Let's go there.
I know we talked about it earlier with Jericho latching on to other people's popularity to be the one to come out on top. I don't know if you saw this. I was just going to let you know real quick. Jerichohausen was announced for the Rockin' Raging Tour at Sea against the Guns. Chris Jericho is going to wear Danhausen face paint and do Danhausen's gimmick with him, and they're going to tag team up against the Guns.
Wow.
Looks so dumb and so bad.
Well, he did the Orange Cassidy thing last year.
I know, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
So he's just doing it again. So, was there anything else you wanted to touch on at all?
Yeah, who would have thought that the man would be so negative about Ricky Starks? But the Punk thing did it. Sorry. I am always have, and always will be Team Cabana. Sorry, Ricky. You done fucked that one up. Yeah, because how do I even meet Ricky Starks? Oh, had to do with Colt Cabana. See, what goes around.
So, anything else?
No. I mean, I'm good because you know what? I've had so much of this soju, man. Holy shit, I can. Woo.
Then I will send you. I'm gonna send one to Bishop too. I'm gonna send out some boozy award nominees. I don't think we're gonna do it next week. I think we'll actually do it the last week of the year. Just why not? Let anything skate in when we want, because the 28th and 29th are the last Wednesday and Thursday. That's clearly after Christmas. I think we could still do the show.
Oh, I think so.
So I think we're gonna do the boozies as normal. If someone has a scheduling problem, then maybe we could talk about pre-recording it or something. But I'm going to start sending out those boozy award things so you can start working on it. Have a few weeks to put it together. Make sure you like it. Make sure if something comes up in the next 2 weeks, you can edit it. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. I think we'll be back next week right here in the dive bar of the IWC. Guys, that's last call.
Cheers.
Hey, Producer Lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.